Hello, my name is Carmela Vallalta.
I'm Julian Rozo.
I'm Oriel Rodriguez.
I'm Yandy.
We're here to give a brief overview of Samsung. They're a multinational company involved in many different industries. Many people are familiar with Samsung because of their technology sector. They're one of the biggest phone manufacturers in the world. They also make TVs, cameras, and many other smart devices. However, we're surprised to find out how wide their scope is. They're also responsible for making some of the biggest and tallest skyscrapers with their construction sector. They have advertising, they have huge insurance and health services companies, as well as shipbuilding and engineering for the oil industry, which is what we're going to focus mostly in this presentation. They have in total over 80 different subsidiaries and over about 500,000 employees.
The company was founded in 1938. Later on, due to some success, they moved in 1947 to Seoul. Because of the Korean War in the 1950s, they have to relocate the headquarters. Then the company started expanding their market into the sugar and flour markets, and they also acquired that time several insurance companies. Then in the 1969, the company founded the Samsung and Sanyo Electronics, and then a year later, in 1970s, they started the production of the black and white TVs. In 1974 is when the Samsung Heavy Industries was founded, and then in the 1977, Samsung Construction and Technology and Fine Chemical was established. In 1983, they started production of personal computers, and then in between 87 and 88, they started making heavy investments into the Institute of Research and Development. In the early 90s, the company started solidifying its position around the world as one of the main electronic producers worldwide, due to its production of the first DVR systems, the memory chips, and also LCD screens televisions. Also in 1987, due to the Asian crisis, the company have to liquidate its company Renault, have to liquidate its affiliation with the company Renault. And then in 1998 was the company saw the production of the first digital TV.
Then in 2008, after a series of controversies, the chairman at the time, Lee Kun-hee, had to resign due to allegations of tax evasion, amongst other things. Later on in 2012, Samsung solidified their status as the world's largest producer of mobile phones, and still maintains that title today.
From now on, we're going to focus mostly on Samsung Heavy Industries. They are the manufacturer for ships for many different applications, most notably oil and gas and shipping containers. They're responsible for making the world's largest offshore platform. They build it for Russia, and they also build ship containers and again a lot of ships for many different applications.
So for the production, as you can see, as Carmela was saying, for tankers and container ships, that's their bread and butter. You can see their production line is about 406 and to 385 orders per year. And then for the drill ships and offshore, we're talking about oil production. That's one of their biggest assets too as well.
So now we're going to go into the Samsung Heavy Industries product line, and we're just going to look at a few of the different tankers and vessels that they make. So starting off with oil tankers, that's the main source of production that they have. As Julian said, they have 406 in the market today. These oil tankers are very sophisticated, actually. Samsung Heavy Industries, they design their own software for stabilizing the vessel in heavy currents. They also have the navigation aids and propulsion systems are all taken care of within the industry. So very little subcontracting goes out to other companies. This is an example of their Aframax tanker, which has about 120,000 tons of load-bearing capacity. So that's very impressive. So let's move on. They also are doing a cutting-edge thing in the industry with Arctic shuttle tankers. Now these are ice-breaking vessels, you can see here, with very thick hulls that are designed to cut through Arctic ice and at the same time deliver oil to remote places. So this is a way for Samsung to explore new trading routes, and it's very, very good to open up paths for exploratory vessels to come in later. So this is an example of that. They also take care of LNG carriers. Now what LNG stands for is liquid natural gas. This is ordinary natural gas that has been cooled to minus 163 degrees Celsius and condensed so that they can store more on the ship. And these ships are absolutely massive. This is a 266,000 meter cube tanker that was built in 2008. Drill ships are also a main source of income and actually represents one of the largest market shares for Samsung. 42% of all drill ship orders are placed with Samsung Heavy Industries, so this is complete domination of the market. And these are, again, very good for exploratory drilling and other types of operations. FPUs are just floating production units. These are stationary platforms that are built to refine and process oil and different chemicals. Japan Oil has recently issued an order for one of the largest in the world. It's at 110 meters on a side, and it weighs over 100,000 tons.
Correct.
Yeah. A new development in the energy industry is offshore wind turbine production. And Samsung has offered a wind turbine installation vessel, as can be seen here, which is a very sophisticated vessel that can install and transport 12 units that are up to 3.6 megawatts apiece, and install each one in about 36 hours. And it can do this in heavy winds of 20 meters a second and large waves too. So it's very stable, very controlled vessel. And again, this is because of all the onboard technology.
So as we're talking about technology, we have to be able to improve our technology throughout time. And Samsung is a pioneer at doing so. As you can see here is the savory air. Pretty much what this production does is reduces the friction that the boat experiences as it travels through the sea. So their product allows the boat to cross through the ocean very smoothly, and it also, when you're crossing through something very smoothly with the least amount of friction, you use the least amount of energy, which is also copacetic with fuel efficiency. We have a stator. The stator is a new model that completely is redesigned by Samsung. It pretty much redirects the flow into the propeller.
Yeah, so you get more force on it.
So you get more force. You're using very little torque. So you're pretty much generating a lot of RPMs in there. And as we were talking about the LNG boats, ships, this is a new innovation for Samsung Industries. Pretty much this is a container. It's a storage facility that is used to store its production of liquid nitrogen, and it uses pretty much as the biggest insulator, one of the biggest insulators in the world to store this amount of liquid.
Of course, because it has to remain kept so cold,
Yeah.
because its natural status is a gas. So.
Some notable partners that work with SHI are, since they're such a big giant in the oil industry, as evident by their product line, they work a lot with the other big petroleum companies such as BP and Shell, for which they're a big natural gas supplier. With BP, they actually started a contract recently to build a floating production facility in the Gulf of Mexico, so they'll be working on that in the near future. They're also big in shipping containers, so they made another partnership with Norway's Big in Shipping, and they're making 4 tankers to launch in 2018.
So as I mentioned before, Samsung being such a big company, such a multinational, wide-reaching industry, it's had its share of controversies throughout the years. Here are a few of the main ones. As I mentioned earlier, in 2008, their chairman, Lee Kun-hee, had to resign because of allegations that he was keeping about $4.5 billion worth of stock hidden and split amongst like 1,200 separate hidden accounts. Now, he allegedly did this to avoid taxation on those stocks, but he shortly after resigned, although Samsung is still family-owned and operated, so that just goes to show how powerful the company is. In 2012, Samsung, through a lawsuit between Apple, was ordered to pay $1 billion to Apple due to copyright infringement on some of their mobile devices. A few years later, in 2014, Samsung had to sever ties with a Chinese manufacturer due to allegations of violating child labor laws. And Samsung has a strict zero-tolerance policy towards that, so they immediately pulled the relations. But that still made headlines. In 2016, just last year, huge controversy happened where Samsung's Galaxy Note S7 was catching fire. Some of the batteries had defects, and this forced Samsung to do a 2.5 million unit recall, which is projected to cost the company nearly $2 billion. So
Yeah, and that's just to show the importance of doing heat transfer and stress analysis on a simple battery, right?
Yeah.
So
simple looking, doing stuff, overlooking things.
in conclusion, we really truly found out how big and massive Samsung truly is. It's starting as a trade industry, moving to chips, television, electronic, phones, building chips. This company has been able to diversify. And I'm pretty sure they also do weapons for the military as well.
Tech wing, that's their military